Hello guys, this is the Gaming Revolution here and welcome back to an all new Call of Duty video. Today, I want to talk about Call of Duty 2022. Yes, Call of Duty Vanguard hasn't even released yet, it's just a couple weeks away now, and we are already talking about Call of Duty 2022, because a couple weeks back, there were some rumors circulating about this game. Now, I never made a video at the time because I was sick, but a lot of people have made videos surrounding this information, and I've kind of gotten a different vibe from what everyone else has gotten, because I'm actually really worried about the storyline and the campaign for this game potentially being a bit of a mess, and that's what I want to talk about within today's video. Now, it's no surprise I am not the biggest fan of Modern Warfare 2019, the reboot. I think that the campaign is great, I really enjoyed that. Spec Ops, well, you all know that Spec Ops is probably the worst co-op mode that we've ever gotten. The old Spec Ops back in the day were way better, and the old versions of Survival, but unfortunately, it really didn't turn out that well in Modern Warfare 2019. It seemed like it needed way more work on it. And seeing as I am a big fan of the co-op modes, considering the fact that I mainly play zombies, it was disappointing that Spec Ops ended up being such a flop. In terms of the multiplayer, well, that was kind of just a shambles. Just not really a fun experience. Warzone is great though and definitely saved that game, but it's not really my cup of tea. I kind of just hop on every now and again. So in terms of the Modern Warfare sequel, I'm not really looking forward, to be honest, because I'm kind of cautious about it. I doubt I'm probably going to play multiplayer much because it's probably going to be quite similar to Modern Warfare 2019, and hopefully they have zombies for the co-op mode, so at least it's more interesting than the Spec Ops that they had last time, and I'll talk about that more later in this video. But specifically regarding the campaign, I am looking forward to the campaign because I enjoyed the original, and I am really looking forward to seeing where the storyline is heading within the future. But it seems like there's been a lot of change of plans in terms of the original storyline direction for where Infinity Ward's narrative directors wanted the franchise and the sequels to head to. And I am kind of worried that a lot of changes have been made kind of last second, and there is the potential that it might be a bit of a mess. And hopefully I am wrong about that, we will just have to wait and see. And before I discuss all of that, I want to let you guys know that this video has been kindly sponsored by Dragon City, which is a free-to-play game available on both Android and iOS devices. Collect over 1,000 different dragons and build your own dragon empire. Breed 2 dragons together to get new ones, hatch them and feed them to evolve. You can train your dragons and take them into battle in order to make them more powerful. There are different PvP modes that let you fight against your friends and challenge other dragon masters. If you click the link in the description, you can get some exclusive free rewards, including 15,000 food, 30,000 gold and 10 gems. The rewards will only be available for new users for 7 days only, so yeah, simply click the link in the description and claim your exclusive rewards today by heading to your inbox. So bringing it back to the topic of the Modern Warfare sequel in 2022. It is going to be called Modern Warfare 2, but apparently the 2 are going to be Roman numerals this time so that it's not identical to the original Modern Warfare 2, so that it distinguishes itself from the original trilogy. Recently, a lot of people have been reporting on this as new information, and I'm not exactly sure why. We've known that this was going to be the title for pretty much a year now, maybe even slightly longer. So this isn't really new information. It is possible that that's just a placeholder and may end up getting changed, but I'm pretty sure that's probably going to be the final title, unless they have some sort of subtitle like Black Ops Cold War, but I think it makes more sense to just go with Modern Warfare 2. It's just easier to say. A recent article came out from videogameschronicle.com that I will leave a link to down in this video's description, and VGC state, according to Tom Henderson, it looks like Call of Duty 2022 is codenamed Project Cortez, and is expected to be a sequel to Modern Warfare 2019. So Project Cortez first appeared in a data mined list of GeForce Now games, listing Infinity Ward as the developer, and that's how come we know that Project Cortez is the codename for the Modern Warfare sequel. According to people with the knowledge of Activision's plans, Modern Warfare sequel will include a campaign involving US Special Forces fighting a covert war against Colombian drug cartels. And this is really unexpected. So the article goes on to say, in a possible link to Modern Warfare 2's alleged codename, this is also the premise to the 1994 Harrison Ford movie Clear and Present Danger, whose main villain is the character Colonel Felix Cortez. So that's probably just the inspiration for the name. Since the 2019 installment, subsequent Call of Duty releases have been handled by Treyarch, Raven and Sledgehammer Games, meaning Modern Warfare developer Infinity Ward will have had 3 years to prepare for its sequel, and that's the thing that I am looking forward to for this Modern Warfare sequel. Whilst I am still cautious because I didn't really enjoy the original game, this is going to be the first game that we've had in a long time that's actually had a full development cycle. Modern Warfare 2019 got worked on for ages, and that's why that game is pretty complete. Black Ops Cold War was kind of a mess behind the scenes because apparently Sledgehammer Games and Raven Software were originally working on it. They kind of had a bit of a falling out. Activision forced Treyarch to step in and take over the project. Sledgehammer Games did kind of still help out with that game, but then they moved on to their next main game, which is Call of Duty Vanguard, but that hasn't had a full 3 years development cycle because it was cranked out in around 2 years. Maybe slightly longer, give or take, but the Modern Warfare sequel is going to be the first game in a while that's had a full development cycle. And even before the last few Call of Duties, we had Black Ops 4 that was also a big mess behind the scenes in development, with the campaign getting cancelled, and a lot of issues with Zombies, with the blue screens on launch. So it's going to be good that the Modern Warfare sequel is going to have a lot of content on launch, and I'm hoping that they are not going to go for a Spec Ops mode again, and hopefully we do see a Zombies mode. Maybe Treyarch are going to be helping out with a Zombies mode again, similar to how they were helping out with the Vanguard Zombies mode. Maybe the storyline could follow what happened after Verdansk was nuked, after it was overrun with the zombies, and we could find out what ended up happening with those zombies. It's no surprise that the Modern Warfare sequel is going to be a huge success, even for those niche people in the Call of Duty vocal community online, because people are very vocally disappointed with Modern Warfare 2019. It gets a lot of hate online, and in my own personal opinion, kind of rightly so. Obviously, people do take it a bit too far sometimes, but personally, I didn't really enjoy the game, but I can appreciate what it's done for the franchise because it has definitely brought it to new heights, and is why the Call of Duty franchise is on top again. It also brought Warzone. It was the first game with cross-play, free DLC, no supply drops, and a fairer microtransaction system, even though the bundles are really expensive. It introduced a lot of other stuff, like being able to reload when you aim down sights. It was the first game with a completely overhauled engine, and it was the return to the Modern Warfare franchise after a long departure from it, so naturally it brought a lot of old fans back to the franchise whilst bringing in new players. And that is why the Call of Duty franchise is doing really well right now. So whilst it has a lot of hate, I can still appreciate that it's brought the Call of Duty franchise on top. Whilst I prefer Treyarch games, I can still appreciate that the Treyarch games are able to be more successful now because of all of these new players that have been brought over to the Modern Warfare franchise, and all the returning players as well that are now going to pick up the Treyarch games too, considering the fact that Warzone integrates with all of the Call of Duties that are coming out. So it makes sense to buy the new Call of Duties to level up weapons, etc. But the thing that I am a little bit worried for the Modern Warfare sequel is that I think there's been some issues with the storytelling, and here is the reason why. Earlier this year, it was announced that the Infinity Ward narrative directors left Infinity Ward, and they've gone on to a new project. So Taylor Kurosaki and Jacob Minkoff have left. They were previously at Naughty Dog, and I think they were a big reason for why Modern Warfare's narrative was so great. The thing is though, the Ghost voice actor has also left, so either they are going to kill off Ghost, they're going to introduce a new character to replace Simon Ghost Riley to play the Ghost character, or they are going to get a new voice actor. Maybe they could even get Craig Fairbrass, who played the original Simon Ghost Riley in the original trilogy, to return. Well, not the original trilogy since he got killed in Modern Warfare 2, but maybe they could make him return. I'm sure a lot of fans would be happy to hear him again, because in my opinion, the new Ghost is just nowhere near as badass as the original. So the reason why Jeff Leach, the Ghost voice actor in the reboot, left is because there was some controversy regarding statements he said on stream, and Activision said they didn't tolerate this, and that is why he left. But according to Jeff Leach, he said that his contract had actually already ended prior to this controversy, and that because the narrative directors had left, and Jeff Leach was apparently his last hire from Taylor Kurosaki, that they just decided to cut ties at the same time, suggesting that maybe the sequel storyline was going to be departing from the Simon Ghost Riley character. And in terms of Ghost, since he died in the original trilogy, maybe he's just going to die again in this game. Maybe Jeff Leach even recorded voice lines already in the Modern Warfare sequel, and he's already dead, and that's why his contract was over. Maybe he dies in this game very early on, and even though his contract is done, he's already recorded voice lines and he's still going to be involved in this game. That's always a possibility. We know that at the end of the Modern Warfare campaign, it sets up Task Force 141, and the introduction of Soap, who has now come as an operator, which is kind of a butchered version of the original Soap, just like Simon Ghost Riley. They introduced Gaz as being Sergeant Kyle Garrick from the campaign, and they also introduced Simon Ghost Riley. So in the sequels to Modern Warfare, we are expecting them to flesh out Task Force 141, and with each of the sequels, they would probably be tackling each of the 4 different horsemen, which was the name for a group of the 4 men whose aims appear to try and become the dominant world power and usurp the Western world, consisting of Makarov, Khalid al-Assad, Viktor Zakhaev, and Imran Zakhaev. And back in the day when I used to do leaks, my source had told me that they were planning for 3 sequels to Modern Warfare 2019, each tackling one of the 4 horsemen. So basically, the sequels would be tackling the War on Terror. But the thing is, I think plans have changed, because now, according to these rumors from VGC sources, instead the sequel is going to be tackling the War on Drugs. And I wonder whether the reason for that could have something to do with recent events that have happened in Afghanistan. Maybe they just don't want it to tie too closely with current events, as it may be seen as being insensitive. But I do wonder whether Activision stepped in to make changes to the Modern Warfare sequel's storyline, and that could be part of the reason for the narrative directors leaving, because currently Infinity Ward just have a temporary narrative director, I believe. They don't even have a permanent one. So I feel like the storyline is literally just being hatched together, and as you guys know, now all of the Call of Duties are set within the same universe and there's crossovers. So Call of Duty Vanguard and the Black Ops games like Black Ops Cold War are all set in the Modern Warfare universe. So I wonder if Activision stepped in and told the narrative directors that they have to change their storyline to make it tie in with the Black Ops games, because Black Ops 2 takes place in 2025, and the Modern Warfare sequel, if it's like Modern Warfare 2019 that was set in 2019, the year it released, it may be set in 2022 as well, which is very close to Black Ops 2. But obviously those games are very different from one another. Black Ops 2's technology is way far ahead, so you know, there's kind of some issues with canon. So I wonder if because the narrative directors were forced to tie in Black Ops elements, it may have kind of colluded the storyline where, you know, there was errors in canon and it just kind of became a bit messy, because a lot of the stuff that's been happening in Verdansk doesn't really make sense canon-wise, and I know we're not supposed to take it too seriously. But before Modern Warfare released, the narrative directors constantly were stressing that they want this game to be realistic, and that is why the game didn't have zombies in it, because they wanted everything to be realistic and grounded. But eventually, we did see zombies in that game in Warzone, so clearly, post-launch, plans started to change, despite the fact that this was not Infinity Ward's original intention. Modern Warfare 2019 was not originally supposed to connect to the Black Ops games. This was an afterthought. That is why we saw Imran Zakhaev in Black Ops Cold War. And yeah, maybe that is part of the reason why they left, because, you know, stuff was getting changed. And that is why I think that zombies are probably going to be in the Modern Warfare sequel. I can't really see them doing Spec Ops again after it flopped last time. And honestly, I don't mind this. I don't really care for realism. I think that it holds games creatively back. At the end of the day, they're just video games made for fun. And limiting yourself with realism just doesn't really make any sense in a game where you literally respawn after you die. It just doesn't make any sense at all. The game isn't realistic. Call of Duty is an arcade shooter. It's not a simulation shooter. So yeah, I do wonder what on earth the Modern Warfare sequel's storyline is going to be about, if it is going to be focusing on these Colombian drug cartels, because as far as we are aware, Viktor Zakhaev died. Now, it is possibly still alive because he just fell over the edge of the nuke, thanks to Captain Price, so it is possible he's still alive, but as far as we are aware, Imran Zakhaev is dead, and I feel like Infinity Ward were originally planning for a plot twist where he's still alive and in charge of everything. The reason being is that when we originally saw a shot of Mr. Z, before finding out he's Viktor Zakhaev, we can clearly see that this image is Imran Zakhaev. It looks just like Imran Zakhaev, so clearly they were originally planning for Mr. Z to be Imran Zakhaev, and there would be a plot twist where he's somehow still alive and he's controlling all of the operations, but that never ended up being the case. So I do feel like Imran Zakhaev was probably going to be the main focus of the sequel to Modern Warfare 2019, but you know, plans have changed now and he ended up showing up as a cameo in Black Ops Cold War. In terms of Viktor Zakhaev, maybe he is still alive and maybe we'll see him again, but as far as we are aware, we're not exactly sure. Now we then have Khalid al-Assad, and the thing is, in this new rebooted universe, we believe that Khalid al-Assad has a huge chance to be Hadir, Farah's brother, simply because he is is referred to as the Lion, which Hadir also is referred to when he was a child in the campaign. So yeah, I feel like the storyline has drastically changed and they're moving away from the war on terror to the war on drugs, which, you know, as I was saying, I guess makes sense, but it just means that a lot of setup that was enacted in Modern Warfare is now going to just fall flat on its face, and we're not really going to get a follow-up to it, and that is why I feel like the storyline could be a bit messy. Now, the thing is, if the Modern Warfare sequel is focusing on these Colombian drug cartels, I wonder if Menendez could be involved. Now, they operated in Nicaragua, which isn't too far away from Colombia, so it is possible that they shared trading territory, and I wonder if Menendez could be involved in the sequel, considering the fact that it is set so close to Black Ops 2, all surrounding COD MWII, and that way the Modern Warfare sequel could tie in nicely with Black Ops 2, because it is rumored that Call of Duty 2023, Treyarch's next Call of Duty game, is going to be a game that's set in the near future, close to Black Ops 2. So it would make sense to see the Modern Warfare sequel, and then see the next Treyarch game be set very close to it, and then there's crossover between the two games. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about in today's video. The game could potentially be, storyline-wise, a bit of a mess, because the Ghost voice actor has left, the narrative leads have left, it seems like the storyline has had a lot of changes in direction that maybe the original directors didn't agree with, and Activision stepped in to make those changes. So it's going to be interesting to see where on earth the storyline heads in this game, how on earth Task Force 141 ties in, how on earth the other members of the Four Horsemen tie in. I'm not really seeing a clear direction for this game, in all honesty. It just doesn't really make any sense, because everything that the Modern Warfare 2019 was setting up was clearly setting up stuff to do with the Four Horsemen, but that potentially might not be the case now. Anyways, we're going to have to wait and see. We have no official information on the game just yet. All we know is that the game is going to be surrounding drug warfare, and that the narrative directors have left, as well as the Ghost voice actor. Other than that, we have no other information. Just a quick reminder that this video has been kindly sponsored by Dragon City, if you want to click the link in the description and claim your free rewards today. Anyways, thank you for watching the video, and make sure to subscribe if you're not here for the latest and greatest Call of Duty news and information. So anyways, thank you for watching, and bye.